Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review on Masterbooks and I'm going to tell you guys all of the reasons why we love it and why it has worked out so well for our family, and I'm just excited to share it with you guys. Grab a cup of coffee and let's get to it. With the weather here. Last week it was raining and it was dropping down to 70, and then yesterday it was like 90 degrees, and now there's thunder and lightning, and you're probably gonna hear it in the background because if you watch my last video on our park day and September update, you'll know that I can't catch a break from things being in the background, which is so ridiculous. But today I'm sharing all things Masterbooks, why we have fallen in love with it, why I think it's such an amazing curriculum. I'm looking down at it, so if you see my eyes just wondering, that's why. But to start, if you are at all interested in Masterbooks, or if you already use Masterbooks and maybe you don't know, you can go to their website and you can actually take a free placement test. So when you're starting out homeschooling, or you're even switching curriculums and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be right for us, I don't even know what grade level to get, do I get one below or above or where I think they are, you can go and take an assessment on their website completely free. You can also check out, I think the first chapter or so many pages of each book too, just to kind of get a feel for their curriculum and see, hey, is this something that I think is going to work for our family? Is it something that I think that we'll enjoy? Now, when we very first started homeschooling, I knew that if we were taking this leap, I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to incorporate God into all of our homeschool. And so I started looking for Christian-based homeschooling programs. And that is when I came across Masterbooks. So quite a few moms had recommended find your homeschool theory and then start searching for your curriculum. And that's exactly what I did. And if you watched my video, I think it was How to Start Homeschooling, I talk a lot about find your theory, because if you find your theory, then you know what curriculum path you want to take. If you just go and buy curriculum and say it happens to be a classical conversations curriculum, but you're like, hey, I'm more Charlotte Mason, then that curriculum is probably not going to work for you. And depending on the type of curriculum, you could be spending a lot of money. So find your theory. I will link below in the description a wonderful website that I found that helped me kind of navigate the pros and cons to each one and what each one was about. Now, with that said, we are more of a Charlotte Mason approach kind of family. I like the gentleness. When we pulled Noah from public school, because he did attend preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. Preschool and kindergarten were great. First grade was rough. He was coming home with so much homework. It was so draining. He would end in a meltdown. I would end in a meltdown. He did not enjoy writing. So we found Masterbooks, and we worked through some of the issues that he had with writing, and now writing is his favorite subject. So I'm going to start with those books. I have his books from last year, and I have his current book from this year. And I just want to show you guys so you can see how gentle it is, because it's a very gentle program. And one of the issues that some people have is they feel like it's too gentle. I personally haven't felt like that. I felt like it's gentle enough. But during the times where I do think that this year, because we do seem to be working ahead a little bit quicker, I have some supplemental materials that I can use, like Scholastic packs for grammar, and I got one for writing. And if there's anything that I learned from our history program not working out, it is that I would rather have a curriculum that is too gentle than one that is too intense. And because if it's too gentle, you can always add in supplemental work. You can always, you can add in games, you can add in videos, you can always add in all of these different media types to just help enhance and complement their learning. One of the things that we really enjoy from each book, whether it's More Than Words, Language Arts, or Math, is that they all have stories about other kids, and it starts right before, in the beginning of the week, with a story about that kid. So in Math, it's always about these twins named Charlie and Charlotte, and it just kind of helps, bring your child into another world. It helps them to kind of paint the story about why these are, important lessons, and it just brings them into it, and it just kind of makes it a living story for them, which I really enjoy. So this was Noah's Language Arts book last year. It was level 2. Starts off with a story, and then they have highlighted versions of that, and then they have questions on the bottom. Every week will be a little different. There's not always questions on the very first day, on the very first page. And I like that they will usually highlight some of the answers. So, say you read this to your child and they're like, I don't know, by the end, and you're like, okay, well, I need you to show up for yourself, so why don't we read the highlighted portion? You already know where the answers can be found. And then it'll be like very gentle things like this, circle the vowels, and then they have copy work, so like, a person, place, and thing is a noun. Sorry, that was probably like too fast. Then, they'll have little questions like, a thing could be a toy, a car, a table, a dog, or an ice cream. Can you think of any other things? And then, your child can write something just to make sure that they actually are understanding what are things versus what are people. And it goes over like capitalization. I think doing this over the last year and not being so intense, that is what brought Noah to love writing, instead of staying in that place that he was at in public school where he just didn't like it. He didn't want anything to do with it. Like, don't even ask me to write my name because I'm so done with writing. It wasn't anything like that. And each one is 1 to 2 pages, so it's not anything insane. When we first started homeschool last year, we were getting a lot of our days finished within an hour and a half. So it was very, go at their own pace, but you're not taking all day to do it. And then on day 4, it was like draw a little story. So they didn't even have writing that day. It was, let's open up their imagination, their creativity. Let's help them find other ways to explore what they want to express. And then they have, little fill in the blanks with your spelling words. On the very last page of his level 2 book, write a sentence incorporating some of your spelling words, or there would even be a spelling test, test. Another thing that I really like about his language arts book, and this is actually going to be from level 3, but it did have some of these lessons in level 2 as well, is they'll have pictures that they basically want you to dissect at the bottom with more questions. Sometimes there will also be poems, so we learn a lot about stanzas. There's a lot of different, like a lot of meat and potatoes in this book, and if you're using it and you're using it well, then I don't feel like it's too gentle. And like I said, you can always add in supplemental work. So the second day, we'll match the common noun with a proper noun. So like there will be holiday, and then you match it to Christmas. And then it's okay, baby. And then, it'll have a calendar study with questions about, how many weeks are there? What day does October 21st land on? How many Sundays are there in the month? It will have them copy Bible verses. So there's Bible in all, like even if you don't use More Than Words for their Bible study, there's Bible scriptures all throughout. There's just their basic regular curriculum, which I really love. And then it will even have them, match, their spelling words with, the size of the boxes. So it just finds different ways. Like no one week in any of these books is completely the same. They do rotate, they do loop these types of assignments, but it's never just the same every week. It's always something different. You know, the following week, if I go to day 5, it'll be, you know, learning the long A sound. And then they want you to put your spelling words in alphabetical order. So it's always something different. No one week is ever just, you know, the same type of assignment, which is really nice. I think it gives them a break. It makes it fun for them. You know, they don't just get in such a groove that it ends up getting boring. For their math, I feel like level 3 of their math is definitely a step up from level 2. Level 2 was very gentle. Like I said, you know, when we first started using Masterbooks, I kind of felt like maybe we should at least get, you know, the following grade for Noah for math, his math book. And you know, even a little bit during last year when he was doing math, I was like, oh, you know this like really well, because it was basically just addition, subtraction, and money. And he was doing a lot of that like since kindergarten in his previous school. So you know, I was like, oh, he's got this, he's gonna know it. But we stuck with the grade that he was gonna be going into, and I'm really glad that we did, because I feel like it really built a strong foundation in addition, subtraction, and money, and all of the other things that math book went over. But this one, you guys, like, this book has long addition, long subtraction. It's gonna be teaching him multiplication, division. It's got everything, and I'm really excited for him to be going over this. One of the things that I really like about this is before they even step into multiplication, it has you do skip counting. So it has you do this whole poster board of a skip counting chart, and it's telling you to memorize it every single week. And I feel like that's a really great way to build a foundation. So then that way, when you get to week 12, you already know 3, 6, 9, 12, and then you're like, oh, okay, so 3 times 4 would be 12 because you do that the 4th time. And it just makes it so I feel like it's easier for him to learn. So now I'm gonna move on to the best book of all, which is not the Bible, but it's close because it's the Bible study. I love this book so much. If you guys, even if you're like, I don't want to get Masterbooks, Shauna, like, I'm fine with my other curriculum, get this book. My kids put stickers on it, but you guys, this is amazing. I love this book. I want to like buy 5 of them and keep them in my car and just hand them out to people because I love them so much. So this is the Bible study book for kids. And I love it because, as I mentioned, they do a story, kind of like a journal entry from a child, and it'll write, you know, what their feelings are about God. You go into the first page, and this is only 4 days a week. It's not 5 days. It's not stressful. It's gentle. It's amazing. So this is their level 1 book, and they would ask questions about the Bible entry. And then they would go over a verse, and they encourage you to pull out your own Bible, which I really like because it has allowed us the opportunity to teach Noah how to use his Bible. On this one, it'll have a key truth. So God is the great I am. And then it'll have copy work. And then the second day was copy work as well. And then they would usually have either a poem or, you know, a picture to just go over and answer questions about, you know, what are the colors being used? If there's people in there, you know, how do you think they're feeling? What do you think they're doing? What do you think they're thinking? I like that because I feel like it teaches them to, you know, try to be in tune with the people around you and what are the looks on their faces? How do you think that they're feeling? And it just kind of creates more sympathetic people. And then it would have a character study, put it kind of closer. And then it would just go over, you know, what does that character trait mean? This one was courageous. What are the synonyms and antonyms of it? And then the fourth, oh no, this is still the third day. It would be color. You would usually do some kind of drawing on the 4th day. That one wasn't like anything spectacular. And then it would just ask you questions like, do you remember what the key truth was? And write about a time when you were courageous. So, I mean, it's very simple. It drives the point home without being intense. This year's More Than Words book, I think, is really great because it kind of takes it from like a spy point of view. They have them make a spy kit. They get a secret spy binder. It says, you know, this is your mission. Do you choose to accept it? So, but it still starts the same way, like a Bible entry or a journal entry from another child with their thoughts on God, the questions that they're asking him, you know, what are they thinking about their faith? You know, it'll ask some questions and it'll say, think about it. And then they have to write their own prayer, which I think is really great because Noah does not always like talking about his feelings. And I think that this is a great way to really make him think, you know, how am I feeling? What do I want to say to God? What do I want to, you know, ask for or talk about? What do I want to thank him for? It's usually their little mission that they have to focus on for the week. And on the following day, there will be copy work and there will be actual scripture study. So one thing that we have really enjoyed this year about this More Than Words book, which is level 2, this year it's really having you dive into the Bible verse. So it's not just reading the Bible verse, it's usually reading, you know, either the whole paragraph, so you can kind of get a better idea of the context from that one Bible verse that they mention. And when they do that, they have you answer questions like who, where, how, what, and when, which I think is really great because it really helps you to just paint the picture of what is going on in this story and how does that Bible verse affect, or how does the story affect that Bible verse. And then the same thing, you know, they'll have picture studies. So this one was, oh, the dad was coming home. How do you think that the family felt? What were they doing? They have some questions. And then here is, you know, drawing a story. Noah didn't feel like coloring this one, but they had, you know, a little coloring area. And then same thing, they're doing character studies this year. We're learning about humble. You go and write, what does humble mean to you in your own words, synonyms, antonyms. They also encourage you to go read a few verses from the Bible, and then you pick 2 of them and you read what that means and how does that relate to being humble. The very last one is writing another prayer and doing another mission. So this is 4 days worth of work. Last but not least is Addie's Foundations Phonics book. I love this book. So last year, I mentioned in my last video for the park day that we did with our September update that I will try to link above. You know, last year we bought this book for her and we started it and it was too much at the time. So I kind of tucked it away. I decided to save it because it was, you know, it was stressing me out, it was stressing her out, and we decided to just focus on learning all of her letters, the sounds with them, and making sure that she had a really good foundation in that before we started an actual phonics learn to read program. Now at the beginning of this year, I kind of had some feelings towards this book because I think of like the negative connotations that I had last year, like where, oh, it didn't work out, so it couldn't possibly work out this year. And so we were looking at some other ones, but I ultimately decided, you know what, no, we're gonna try this one. We'll see how it goes. If it still is not working, then I'm not gonna force it. We'll just find something else, but I wanna at least try it since we have it. And I'm so happy that I gave it a second chance. This book is so great. It's gentle for her now. If your child is not ready, if they need kind of a gap, like they're interested in learning how to read, but they're not quite ready for a phonics program, try just teaching them the ABCs. It's free. You just go get some 50-cent flashcards from the store, write an A on it, and just teach them that sound for that letter. We did that all last year, like every week, and sometimes we would take 2 weeks just focusing on one letter. And then when we would finish that letter, we would move on to the next one. And as we were moving on to the next one, we were still reviewing what we had already learned. So it wasn't just learn, brain dump, learn more, brain dump. So this one I love because it also incorporates the Bible. So, you know, like this one, this week is letter L, and it says, you know, God led his people as they left Egypt, and you're really supposed to emphasize the L sound. And then you know, it makes it into an adventure for them. It has, you know, these little paragraphs right here are from the Bible, and then you get to the next page and it goes over what's uppercase, what's lowercase. As we get into like, you know, the actual like nitty gritty of the book, she sounds out this, and then it has all of these words that end in "ot." So then it's easy for her to tie in, you know, "ot." So I think that has really helped her. She is doing so awesome. When she read her first word, I was blown away. I was not expecting it. I was like, okay, last year teaching the ABCs was kind of difficult. There were some struggles. I feel like it's going to be a little bit like that this year, but it's been refreshing. It's been a blessing. It's been really nice to just see her grow in that and for it to come so natural to her. And I feel like really just taking time to slow down last year, not focus on a curriculum, and just really, you know, building a solid foundation in the ABCs and the phonics that they have, it just really helped. So if you're starting out with a preschooler, do the ABCs like I mentioned. You know, I was kind of worried about doing that last year. I felt like, oh, is she going to be behind? But there's no behind in homeschool. And now look, it started raining and now the sun's coming out because the lighting is changing. So after that, the next day is you read a story and they sound out all of the bold words. And even that, she's been doing so great in it. And the following day will be, you know, you can color the letter. You can have some sight words on the bottom. And then I think the very last one is tracing that letter. So you trace it and then they give you some space to write it. You know, and even if you feel the need to supplement with this book because maybe your child is excelling in it at a faster pace than you can keep up with, you can always get traceable alphabet book worksheets on Amazon. Right now, I actually found a sight word tracing book on Amazon that I will try to link down below. I have it coming for Addie. We haven't received it yet, but I'm really excited about that because I also purchased some sight word flashcards. I didn't want to make my own. I'm so tired, you guys. Like, 4 kids and just running the house. I'm exhausted. But I've got flashcards coming that were like $3 on Amazon. So I was like, heck yes, add to cart. And then what else? I think I got a lot. I don't even remember what I got. But you can always add in supplements if you feel like, you know, Masterbooks is too gentle. Like I said, I would rather have something that is too gentle and I can add in more than something being too intense and I don't even know what to take out because I don't know what's important to know now versus what's going to be important to know later, and you know how they're going to tie together. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you use Masterbooks, let me know down in the comments. If you're looking for a curriculum and you want one that speaks life and you think that this will be a good fit, let me know that too. I will try to link all of the books down below that we have used and that we've had blessings with, because I feel like learning should be joyful, it should be inspired, it should be full of wonderment, and I really full-heartedly think that that is what Masterbooks has done. And so all of these opinions are my own. I am not being paid to say anything about Masterbooks, so please don't take any of this review as that. I just genuinely love them because I've seen how my kids have grown in their curriculum and it's been beautiful to watch. So I hope this helped you. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and I'll see you again later. Bye.